Is everybody still there?
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Radio 22's Talk 22, show hosted by me, your boy Mizzle to the Jizzle. We're back yet again, bringing you the conversations that you want to talk about, bringing it to you with nothing but the real. We appreciate all y'all coming back one more time. Man, so much going on these last few weeks, right? I mean, people back outside. We got the Milwaukee Bucks won the championship. You know, we got the Versus just popped off with Dipset versus um, who I can't even think. Dipset versus the Locks, and we also got so much other stuff that just popped off, recently. But as we look at it, I also looked at my phone and I see that there was some other drama popping off. Some drama with the homie the baby, and he got in this little hot water with some stuff that was going on in the media during one of his conversations at his concert at the Rolling Loud tour. And through that process, it got me kind of thinking, is hip hop homophobic? Because a lot of people want to say that it is. And, I really want to shed some light on that and see what we can find. So, part of that conversation, I got my heavy hitters like I always do. Out of the Madison area, I got joining the program. The homie Saray is here. Saray, can you say hello to the people?
Hi, I'm Saray. I'm excited to be here, first timer.
Hey, we appreciate you coming through and joining the program, Saray. Also joining the program, we got the homie Heather G is here on the program. Heather, can you say what's up to the people?
What's up, everybody? It's also my first time on this podcast.
We appreciate you coming through as well, Heather. And last but not least, you've seen him many times. The homie Bang hit one more time on the program. Bang, can you say what's up to the people, please?
What's going on, people's bang?
Hey, we
Appreciate y'all for tuning in.
appreciate you coming back through again one more time, Bang. All right, so we're just gonna jump right back into it, and it's a hot and heavy topic, but we want to figure out what you got to say too. So please leave your comments in the comment section as well. I want to ask, do you think hip hop is homophobic? I'm gonna start with you, Bang. Find out from you. What do you feel? All right, I think Bang's cameraman froze. I'm gonna start with you, Saray. Actually, Saray, what do you feel? Do you feel like hip hop is homophobic?
I don't think hip hop is homophobic. I don't think a music genre can really be homophobic.
Okay.
I think things like homophobia and misogyny, sexism, etc., have become popular themes in hip hop, like within the genre as a whole. And I think that's kind of where we're seeing some of the problems that we're talking about today. But I don't think you can just go out with a blanket statement that like hip hop is homophobic.
Okay, very interesting. Because I mean, they feel like what they put out there in the media is that they say that hip hop does come with a lot of misogyny, and they say a lot of stuff, that could be misconstrued as gay bashing or homophobic in their lyrics. And I guess I want to ask you, Heather, what do you feel? Do you feel like hip hop in general is homophobic?
I honestly feel it's more of an individual standpoint. Um, Historically, if you look at it, like we had the growing up with queer rappers, mostly females, like in the '90s. The Brat, Missy Elliott, Queen Latifah, they all came out relatively recently since same-sex marriage passed, but they were just doing their thing. They weren't selling sex in the '90s as much as Foxy Brown or Lil Kim and them. So I mean, overall, it's an individual standpoint because you see people like Ti speaking, backing up with the baby saying what he's saying, But you also have since like the Orlando massacre, Kid Cudi spoke out and said, hip hop doesn't voice and support the LGBT community like they can. So, like I said, it's not a group thing; it's an individual thing.
Okay. Appreciate your point on that, Heather. Last but not least, we're gonna try to reach back at Bang. Bang, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, we want to know from you, Bang. Do you feel like hip hop is homophobic?
I agree with Heather. I think it is an individual thing. I don't think that the rap game is homophobic, not at all. A lot of people they just either don't understand the gay community or they're just not with it, and so they just voice their opinion. I feel like just because somebody uh, isn't with anything that has to do with gay, it doesn't mean that they are homophobic. If they don't like or if they don't like to like for instance having like gay community rights and stuff being taught in like and schools as far as kids as young as like 1 or 2 years old. You have your own opinion, and just because you disagree with something doesn't make you homophobic. So, and we all know that there are a lot of gay people that's in the rap community anyway, and I don't see the any rappers trying to cancel Lil Nas X or anybody else that came out, you know, to be gay. So no, I don't think that the rap game is as homophobic at all.
Okay. Feel you on that. A lot of people did speak out when there was comments made by certain rappers on Dwayne Wade's child situation as they were converting into their new sex and transitioning into what they identify with. So at times, I guess hip hop has kind of caught some of that flag that they just aren't supportive, like we're saying, of the LGBT. I don't even know. I
But don't
apologize,
I mean
but I don't know all the
we live
letters.
in a don't we live in a time where everybody has an opinion, and just because somebody's opinion is different, it doesn't make it right or wrong. They just feel different. Lil Boosie,
There's,
he definitely disagreed with Wade's decision, and I mean he's not wrong for his opinion. That I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. That's just how he feels.
mm.
So, I mean, does that make you homophobic because you don't agree with certain decisions?
So would it be wrong if with what the Wade family believe?
I mean, either way.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. We're gonna move along. I want to go back to you, Bang. I want to ask you. Saray kind of said she doesn't believe that music genre can be homophobic. I want to ask you: are there any other music genres that you feel like people put that branding on as homophobic?
I haven't heard. I haven't heard. I mean, I've done some research. I haven't seen any problems in other genres. Uh, so that was just through my research. So if there is problems in other genres, I haven't really heard about it.
So this is a thing that maybe is specific to hip hop, huh?
I mean, it seemed like hip hop like beef and stuff like that in hip hop is normal. This is just a normal thing that hip hop goes through. So it maybe not it might not be as normal if it was a country genre or an R&B genre to be beefing and having problems with each other and hating other artists and doing stuff like that, but it's completely normal in the hip hop community. So that's probably why you see it a lot in the hip hop community.
Okay. All right. So Ray, I'm gonna go back to you on that same subject. Do you feel like maybe other genres, like maybe country music, like he stated, or some of these other genres that really do speak on the heterosexual relationships in their music, do you feel like why do they not get that branding as homophobic is the same way that we see hip hop gets?
Yeah, I mean, I think in a way, with a lot of country music, it's stereotypically more conservative. So like your artists are more conservative, and the fan base is more conservative. Um, and I agree with Bang of like you don't see a lot of like other types of music genre artists like they're not out there beefing as publicly. Like it's not anything what is like in the hip hop community. But I also think that the hip hop community is just inherently super divided on a bunch of different things. And so I think that's why it's kind of spoken about more. It's just like with all the different beefs about different things, different topics, this is just one that's been added in. Whereas I think if other music genres were having the level of beef that hip hop had, they might be having more kind of nuanced conversations around certain aspects of certain songs and topics and themes.
Okay. All right. I want to ask you, Heather. I want to ask, do you feel like there's any music genres that support gays or vice versa?
Uh, Historically, as I see, even growing up, 80s baby, 90s kid, pop music has always been progressive, with everything. Dating all the way back to Willie Nelson, Dolly Parton, believe it or not. And you can watch it on the documentary on Netflix. I kind of spacing on what it's called. But, you know, people are always shaking up and
Hmm.
in support of the gay community, even when other genres have not vocally been supportive.
Mm. Okay. So it may be the pop just has it over the other genres when it comes to being open minded in your opinion,
I
Heather.
guarantee you, Lil Nas X probably would not be where he's at today if he started just in hip hop community. The fact
Mm.
that he dove into the pop music is why he's as big as he is. Because that is like the huge target audience for pop music is the LGBT community.
Well, let's be honest. He actually started in country with his first hit song, and that really wasn't accepted in the country stations in the way that other songs have. Do you feel like maybe country is not supportive of the gay population in the same way?
Yes, in the 80s and 90s, gay artists couldn't even be out singing gay music. Like they had to sing ballads of heterosexual relationships and stuff like that. Ty Harridan got canceled when they found out he was gay. He's a famous country artist from the early 90s. Shelly Wright, single white female. It was the target audience was male because they didn't want to accept a female, lesbian artist.
Hmm.
Even with who's Billy Gilman, that kid superstar that sang One Voice, like he kind of got canceled after he came out of the closet. So yeah, country is definitely much more homophobic than probably any of the other genres that we have.
Mm.
I see. Okay. Um, all right. So I want to go and dive in a little bit deeper into this situation with the baby. I want to play a little bit of what he actually did say at the Rolling Loud concert and see what your thoughts are. So I'm gonna go right into that.
You didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks. Put a cell phone light in the air. Lady, if your pussy smell like water, put a cell phone light in the air. Fellas,
Lights up.
fellas, if you ain't sucking nigga dick in the parking lot, put your cell phone lights in
Let's
the
be
air.
real about this shit.
Yeah, keep it fucking real.
Some of y'all niggas suspect as a motherfucker. Let's be real.
Mm, okay. I mean, he was pretty blunt with what he stated, right? But I want to go back to you, Heather. I want to ask you, was the baby way out of bounds in his comments at the performance at Rolling Loud, in your opinion?
My opinion, yes, but my opinion doesn't matter.
Okay. Uh, what part was he out of bounds with, I guess?
Well, first of all, he wasn't just homophobic. He was sexist with the women. If your pussy smell like water, blah blah blah.
Okay.
That was a direct hit at women who might have health issues, and stuff like that. So that's part of the cancel culture way of canceling him. Wasn't just because of the homophobic rants. And he needs to be mindful that the LGBT community wasn't the only community that was affected by the pandemic in the 80s. It was a huge hit in the Black community as well. So that's where his miseducation is at.
Okay, fair enough. I appreciate you on that, Heather. Saray, I want to ask you the same question. Do you kind of feel like the same way? Does the baby's comments, is that hit different for you? I mean, a lot of time when we listen to different rap artists or whatnot, they say some off the wall type stuff just to get attention in their concerts, with stuff like that. Do you feel like that's something that's ready to cancel somebody just because they talk in that nature?
Yeah, I definitely feel like the baby was in the wrong, right? Like it wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessarily at all. I agree like with Heather of like he's like basically being like blatantly misogynistic, homophobic, spreading misinformation about AIDS and HIV. Like he straight up doesn't know what he's talking about in the first place. He just like goes on this random rant. And so I think it is fair for people to be upset about what he said and upset with him. And I think it is fair for festivals to see that kind of the public outcry and be like, we're not gonna lose our money because people are gonna end up boycotting the baby. I think the thing is with cancel culture, I'm gonna go ahead and assume I'm the youngest person here. I'm 18. So cancel culture is something that's definitely more so kind of originated with my generation. And I don't really believe in the term cancel culture. I think that people should be held accountable for their actions. So like, yeah, the baby was called out. And so I think it's people's individual choice if they want to continue to support him after this. I think with cancel culture though, it's just going to be really interesting to see what happens to the baby, because there are kind of white artists who've said similar things or done things just kind of like on that same level of wrong, who have been canceled, but they don't have careers. It seems like the Black people take kind of the biggest hit in terms with cancel culture, even though a white person can do the same thing. And the internet will say that they're canceled, but they actually don't end up being canceled. Which is, I think, maybe kind of like something to think about too, is he going to stay canceled compared to his other peers?
Very interesting. Yes, we do see that sometimes there's a difference in artists, and when we're talking about people of color, sometimes they get hit a little bit different when it comes to situations like this. All right, Bang is he'll be joining the program back again. All right, so Heather, I want to ask you, not only did the baby say his comments, but we did see, like you said, there were some people that came to his defense and spoke on his defense and said that, basically they didn't think that his comments deserved that. So one of the people who talked about that stood up for the baby was actually the homie T.I., the rapper T.I. And I want to go into a little bit what T.I. had to kind of say about the situation.
Top of the top. So, I guess, what I'm saying, social media is full of confusion. And words are often misconstrued. And to be honest with you, if homosexuals have more rights than heterosexual people, just say that. Homosexuals have more rights than heterosexual people, then just say that. Let's let that be the law. Is that the law? Because I feel like I respect gays, especially the ones who have the courage and the bravery to step out and live in their truth. You know what I mean? I respect that. I think any human being, man, walking this earth who has the bravery and the courage to live their truth unapologetically, I respect that. But that I respect it the same way if you're a heterosexual person. I respect it the same way. So I don't even see what all the hoopla about. Some of y'all motherfuckers just be up in arms and fake caring about shit just cause you ain't got shit else going on in your life for real. You dig? Ain't nothing.
Okay, so he was pretty blunt in what he had to say as well, right? So Heather, I want to ask you, do homosexuals have more rights than heterosexuals to express themselves when it comes to art, like music?
That's a complex question, considering there's like it goes back to individuality. Like Lil Nas X has more freedom than a lot of queers still, and that's still like average Joe, you know, trying to make a living. You know, he's just doing himself. He says Ti, you know, you can respect that. You may not, you know, fuck with his music, but like he's doing him. He's making the money. He's, you know, but as a whole, no, we still have fighting equal rights as LGBT as a whole. There's plenty of discrimination within the community that needs to, you know, that's been problematic. And honestly, black queers have it worse than even white queers here, you know, because there's so much acceptance in the white community nowadays. I've heard plenty of stories of the black community not accepting their own LGBTQ, you know, much worse than others. Most of the trans murders are POC trans individuals. Like, it's not the white trans people getting murdered. I mean, there's a few, but there's not. You know, majority of them are black trans. So where does that? So where is the rights in those people who identify as LGBT? You know.
Good point. Good point. We appreciate you for that, Heather, as well. Bang, I want to go back to you here and ask you that same question. You know, T.I. looked at it and he just felt like the baby doesn't have the right to express himself, is what he felt like. He says, why, in his opinion, why do homosexuals have more rights to express themselves than heterosexuals, is what he kind of thought. And I want to ask you that question. Do homosexuals have more rights than heterosexuals to express themselves?
Hell no, I don't think so at all. I mean, the baby he has the right to express himself the same way anybody from the gay community has the right to express themselves. It's just that what the baby said triggered something in the gay community, and they got on him. And it was up to that event, Lollapalooza, to cancel him. They didn't have to cancel him just because people didn't like what he said. You know, so I don't look at that as the gay community. Hold on one second. I'm sorry about that. That's you know, if they want to cancel the baby's tours or whatever like that, you know what I'm saying? That's just a business move. You know, they don't have to do that shit. You know, so to me, what he said, it wasn't that bad. The whole HIV thing, I don't think that was geared towards the gay community. The last part he said, yeah, it was, but at the same time, we live in a time where, you know, everybody has an opinion and you can express yourself freely. And if you don't like what somebody say, then just don't support them. Just don't listen to him. You don't have to listen to the baby. You know, a lot of people that want to cancel him probably don't listen to his music anyway.
Okay. I appreciate your thoughts on that, Bang. I want to ask you then, Saray. Have we gotten too free with some of the sexual expression in music? You know, T.I. did also kind of mention further in his conversation that he doesn't agree with some of the sexual expression that maybe like a Lil Nas X may do in some of his videos, the same way he doesn't appreciate what Cardi B does in like a video like WAP. You know, do you feel like we maybe are getting too free in our sexual expression when it comes to music?
I mean, I think first of all, I want to say I feel like Ti is not necessarily is not the voice of reason in this situation. He's definitely gotten a lot of heat in the past for like just like being like super misogynistic, talking about things like with his daughter. His own daughter doesn't even talk to him anymore.
Good
But
point.
and so you know, I don't agree that people that were I think the thing is in music is kind of supposed to tell the story of life, especially hip hop. Hip hop has always been very big on like, this is the truth, like, this is my life story. Sexuality is just a part of humanity. And I mean, if that's something that you don't want to hear, you don't have to listen to the music, you know, that people that are making that music. But at the same time, I think to take that out of music, especially hip hop, it's just inauthentic. And I think kind of defeats the purpose of doing music, especially hip hop, of saying, you know, having the truth in the first place. And like again with what Ti said, I think the biggest thing is that I've seen it in a lot of other people too, when you have kind of heated discussions, like feigning oppression in defense of bigotry, of like somebody like calling you out and being like, hey, like that's like that's not a good take. That's kind of ignorant. And instead of being like, trying to see how that person is right or where they're coming from, being like, oh, well, homosexuals just have more rights because they can do whatever they want. But when I say something homophobic, I'm a bad person. That's kind of the energy that it gives off, at least in my opinion.
Okay, good point. Appreciate that, for Saray. Uh, shout out to one of our listeners, Val, that said Dave Chappelle spoke on this topic very nicely as well. I did not hear that, but yes, a lot of people are speaking on this topic. That even the baby, I guess, did drop an apology, which I guess he later has removed off of his sites. But Heather, I want to also get back to you and ask you that same question. Do you feel like maybe we're getting too comfortable with being too free in some of our expression? We look at even way back in the day, people like some Mix-a-Lot got a lot of trouble for his Baby Got Back. We know there was a lot of band music back in the '90s and whatnot with Luke and his group back in the day as well, with some of the Miami sounds that came out back then. Do you feel like maybe we're getting too free with some of our expression and music with the sexuality?
I don't really think it's changed as much since growing up, because it's not just hip hop. You got the '80s hair bands, you got pop songs like you said that were later banned. R&B is heavy with sex songs, and rap,
Yeah.
and let's include Rump Shaker in there and Me So Horny. Like, all this stuff has always been around in the hip hop community. It's just now it was just sexual expression of the heterosexual community. But when someone from the homosexual community is doing it now, like Lil Nas X, it brings discomfort because he's not just portraying the same sex element. He's also portraying, pro Satanism, which a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people have their own opinions on, which we obviously won't cover on that. But like, it makes a lot of people uncomfortable because it's not something they're familiar with. And I'm sure Madonna in the '80s had the same journey. It's just
Oh, no doubt.
different acceptance, different communities. Different ways of evolving in music. It's always evolving.
Okay, I mean, no doubt. I mean, yeah, when I was a kid, like you said, even in R&B music, we did catch some of that. I was listening and singing along to such songs as "Color Me Bad," "I Want to Sex You Up." At the same time, I didn't know what I was talking about back then, but that was a jam, and I guess from a lot of older people, who are now parents, are looking at it and they realize, my kids are listening, singing, and doing dances on TikTok to some of these songs, doing the WAP, you know, And we want to know, you know, from you, Bang, are we getting too free with some of that?
I don't think so. I mean, the radio stations, you know, they can bleep it out. The radio stations don't have to play it. But no, I mean, that's what music is. Music is, you know, the freedom of expression. You should be able to express yourself and to make music about your life or what you like. You know, so I mean, sexual expressions that's been going on for a long time. Ever since what Lil Kim and the rap game, she was one of the first ladies, you know what I'm saying, to really blew up, being nasty. And you had Nicki Minaj, and you know, and it just kept going on and on from there. That's what people want to hear. They wanna hear the WAP. They want to know who got the WAP. That's what people want. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, if you don't want the WAP, I mean, I guess that's your opinion. You cannot want the WAP. You know what I'm saying? It can be dry if that's how you like it. You know what I'm saying? And if you make a rap song and you're gonna talk about how you don't want the WAP, but that's that person's right to express themselves. And if you don't like it, then you don't have to listen to it. Now, I do feel like radio stations, they are allowing uh certain words and references, you know, to get through. And I think that they should stay strict because you know kids and stuff do listen to the radio stations. You know, you can just be driving, just listening to a song, and all of a sudden, you know, WAP comes on. You know, you got 5, 6 year olds in the back seat. You know,
Right.
so yeah, and I'm not saying cancel the song, but I'm saying, you know, certain references can be bleeped out. But no, everybody has the right to express themselves, whether it's sexually, whether it's the streets, whether it's farm life. It don't matter. That's music. If you don't like it, you don't cancel them. Just press skip or don't listen to it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, so I want to go right back to you, Bang. You know, since we are talking about Lil Nas X in this as well, you know, a lot of people got shocked off of the performance that he had at the BET um, Awards, where I guess in his performance at the end of it, he had a promiscuous kiss between him and his dancers that, you know, equated to something that you may have seen with like Madonna or somebody like that that's done that in the past. But it did shock a lot of people. And I guess they want to know, I'm asking you, do you think that performers like Lil Nas X just do these things to get attention? Why do people pay so much attention to these things?
He is doing it for attention, and all rappers do it for attention, and he should do it for attention, and he should continue to do it for attention because at the end of the day, that's his life, that's his career, and he's doing that to take care of himself, feed his family, and create generational wealth for his family, his kids, and their kids, or whatever. You know, this is entertainment, and as long as people are gonna have something negative to say about the things that he do, then he's gonna continue to get that attention, and he's probably gonna continue to do it because that negative press is a whole lot better than positive. Anything negative gets shared, like, and comment a whole lot more than something positive. So all eyes on him right now. So yeah, he should do it. And I mean, every rapper do it. You know, you want, you know, they all want to be in the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? If you're a celebrity, you got to be in the spotlight. You know, people got to see you. People got to talk about you. As long as people talking about you, then you making money or you're about to make some money. You know, so I don't have a problem with what he do. For one, I mean, I don't really follow him. You know, I don't listen to his music. So I don't have a problem with nothing they do because I don't know what the hell he do. You know what I'm saying? So you know, and I ain't saying nothing bad about him. You know, it's just if I don't listen to your music or if I don't like your art, then I just, you know, I won't really
You don't tune in.
attention to it.
Yeah, I feel you. Okay, we appreciate your thoughts on that, Bang. It does kind of seem like he does troll the industry a little bit, something similar to like a Tekashi 6ix9ine or whatnot. But Heather, I want to know from you, do you feel like all this trolling is necessary, like what Lil Nas X does? Do you feel like he's just doing this for attention, or like do you really feel like he's really trying to put out a message?
Mostly attention, but also a message, because that's his life. He's making these conversations happen by doing what he's doing. And same with the baby. Like, our reactions is what they feed off of when they do stuff like this, whether it's for attention or whether it's for a message. Like, if they're not doing what they're doing now, we wouldn't be talking about this right now.
Okay.
It's a little bit of both, to be honest.
It's a little bit of both. But do you feel like that's a rewarding thing for an artist to pursue in their career to be?
He's the one laughing at the bank, so he's got the money. Compared to us,
Exactly.
More money. He's
Okay.
getting sales regardless.
All right, very good. All right, thank you, Heather. Saray, I want to asking you that same question. Do you feel like it's a little gimmicky to be able to put this like shock appeal type thing? We just I equated to Tekashi 6ix9ine, but his reign kind of faded out too. I mean, people only pay attention to it for so long until they get tired of it. Do you feel like it's a little gimmicky to kind of put this shock appeal to people?
I don't, but I think it's because too, a lot of people don't realize that before Lil Nas X hit it big, he had a mild following on Twitter for literally just trolling people on Twitter. He had a Nicki Minaj stan account, and he was just that's been this man's whole thing his entire life. Since he's been at least middle school, high school. So that's why he's so good at what he does. And I think he's picking a pretty positive message to, stick to a gimmick or whatever of him just kind of being I'm going to express, my views and opinions. I want to live my life how I want to. And I know that's going to piss you all off. So I'm going to make some money off of it while I'm here as well. And, honestly, it's good for him. He knows what he's doing with marketing. I mean, he did recently for his new song, Industry Baby. He had this whole marketing ploy where he was talking about how he's getting taken to court for the Satan shoes. And he made it all up just for the Industry Baby video.
Wow.
And he's a genius at trolling people and marketing, and it works well for his brand. And so I don't see anything wrong with it.
Okay, fair enough. All right, appreciate you for that. All right, so I want to go back to you, Saray, and ask you, do you see that somebody could be of the gay community and do hip hop and truly be a big artist in that field? Do you feel like people would support a gay rapper in today's America?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that they already are and just don't know it. I mean, people, especially female rappers, I know Heather touched on this a little bit earlier, but Megan, Cardi, Doja Cat have all come out and said that they don't label themselves as straight. I mean, and even Tyler, the Creator, and Frank Ocean, both gay men. I think that the biggest thing when talking about, the sexuality in hip hop is how society perceives it. And when we see gay men, the negative context is it's wrong. It's not masculine and it's dirty. Just with what the baby said, about in the parking lot. When he was talking about having sex in the parking lot, he was talking specifically about two men. He didn't say everybody. He specifically singled out men. But on the other hand, of when we see women together, society sees that as hot. It's sexy in relation to the male gaze of oh, this is what men want to see. It's a fetish. It's all this, blah, blah, blah. And so I think that's the biggest thing, because you see all these female rappers talk and nobody has a problem with them. But then they have male rappers. And that's where the issue comes from, is really sexism and misogyny at the root of it.
Okay, that's very interesting. Heather, do you kind of agree with what Saray just said with that? Do you feel like it's more of a thing that we're open to lesbian rappers, but maybe not gay rappers?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That's why I said, when the Brat and Missy Elliott, they may not have been publicly admitting they're LGBT, but obviously with the way they present themselves, it's there's behavior indicators, you know, and like that didn't rub off on their careers at all. It's just the ones that are, you know, it goes with a lot of toxic masculinity. Like toxic, insecure, straight men are intimidated by gay men because they're afraid of what they might not know. So, I mean, I think it's definitely a sexist industry for sure.
Very interesting. Okay, thank you for that, Heather. Uh, Bang, I want to ask you I guess the exact kind of same thing here. You know, if indeed that we are having a thing towards gay rappers and not lesbian rappers, do you feel like gay rappers could be supported as like top industry people in the field? I know she did name some people who are gay, but we don't look at them as the top rappers, but they are supported. Do you feel like they could be some of the top rappers in the industry?
So are you saying? I guess it depends. If it's a gay male that's rapping about gay music,
Right.
then probably not, because if he's rapping and saying, you know, gay lyrics, a person that's not gay is not gonna relate to it. So when you say at the top, that means that everybody is rocking with that music.
Well, I mean, like
Now
the
this
Jay-Z's, the Eminems, the Snoop Dogg's, the top echelon people that we all know.
right. I mean, if you gay, but you don't make if you're a gay male, you don't make gay music, then yeah. If you do make gay music, then you limiting yourself to people that like that type of music. So just like with so we talk about the lesbians. I mean, we like that. Males like that, so they don't care. And females don't care neither. So is that a woman that comes out and making that type of music, she's not going to limit herself to just certain audiences, because everybody's accepts it. But a gay male, if he raps gay music and he's saying no gay lyrics, then yeah, he's gonna limit himself, because every male is not gonna relate to it.
Okay. Let me ask you another question here, Bang. I want to go back to you and ask you, do you believe that rappers care who support their music?
If they do, they shouldn't. I don't think that they care. If rappers cared about who support their music, then they wouldn't say nigga so much in they rhyme. You know what I'm saying? Because the white people support it. They all in the shows rapping with them. And they saying nigga right along with them. So I mean, if you actually cared, then you wouldn't use the N-word. I don't think that they care. And if they do care, then they shouldn't care. You know what I'm saying? Because you're making your art, and if people appreciate your art, no matter what it is, music or not, if people appreciate your art, you should have a deep appreciation for people that do appreciate what you do. So no, they shouldn't care who appreciate it.
Okay. So Ray, I want to ask you that. Do you feel like a lot of these rappers really care who supports their music? Do you feel like a rapper like the Baby? Do you feel like he really cares if he has homosexual fans or not?
I think it's interesting. I think like on a very basic level, like all artists are going to at least like want to know who is supporting their work. And especially I think with musicians of like kind of like celebrity culture and like doing meet and greets and like having a fan base that they interact with, I think on that level they do. But ultimately what matters is how many records they sell, like how like the money aspect, money portion of it. And I mean, I think it's interesting. Like for somebody like the Baby, I feel like he cares in the sense that like he doesn't like it, but he's not gonna stop them from buying it. He still wants them to buy his music. He might not like what they do or what they believe in, but he's like, but you can still buy my music though, which is why I think he felt so comfortable making those comments at Rolling Loud.
Okay, good point. Good point. Appreciate that. That's right. Heather, I want to ask you the last and final question here that I'm going to bring out to the panel. Is it better to keep it real or to keep it to yourself when it comes to hip hop?
I'm a firm believer to keep it real. Like, put your truth out there. If people really
Yeah.
fuck with you, they fuck with you. If they don't, just move on. We have billions of people in the population of the world. Someone's gonna fuck with you for being just you.
Yep.
Okay. Bang, I hear you agreeing. You know, we talked about even some of those female rappers that Heather was talking about, be it Queen Latifah or anybody like that. Many of them didn't state what their preference was straight out the gates. Later down the road, we did get to see what they identify with and who they prefer, but they didn't talk
Yeah.
about it right away. I guess I'm gonna ask you the same question: is it better to keep it real or to keep it to yourself? Like we said, it is a business.
It's always better to keep it real. What's real is always real. You always be real. Now you don't have to give up all the information. So maybe Queen Latifah and them, they felt like it wasn't the right time for them to, come out publicly. So I mean, good job for those that do, and for them to feel more comfortable. But you always keep it real. The baby kept it all the way 100, but he didn't have to say it. So that was a situation where he didn't have to offer that information. He could have kept that to himself. Keeping things to yourself does not necessarily mean that you're not keeping it real. He just didn't have to say none of that shit at all. But I'm a firm believer in always keeping it real, staying true to yourself, never lying to yourself, never lying to people. But your business is your business. And if you don't want people to know certain things, they don't have to know it.
Fair enough. I appreciate you for that as well, Bang. Seeing both sides of the page. I appreciate that. Sarai, we give you the last words, Sarai. Uh, your opinion on this. We want to know, when it comes to hip hop, they always say you got to keep it real, right? But in some situations, like maybe here at the baby, is it better to keep it to yourself or is it better to keep it real?
I agree with Bang and with Heather. I think you have to keep it real 100%. I do think there's a difference between keeping it real and being ignorant, though. Like Bang said, like nobody asked the baby a question. There's nothing that really prompted his whatever you want to call that at Rolling Loud. He just started talking. And like that's the thing is now, okay, the baby still wants to keep it real. So he's hearing all of these people saying, like, hey, maybe like you shouldn't be saying these things. Here's why it's offensive to communities and to people who support you. Now he can either ignore that and keep doing what he's doing. He can, I was going to say give a fake apology, but I guess he kind of already did that since he deleted it. Or he can take the time to learn and like talk with people and like educate himself. And if he has the same opinion that he had before, okay, but at least he's taking steps to educate himself. He's not being ignorant. And so like I think that's the biggest thing is in hip hop, hip hop is all about speaking your truth, like I said earlier. And your truth is not always going to be everybody else's truth. And because of that, not a lot of people are going to want to hear your truth a lot of the time, especially if your truth is something that a lot of people don't agree with.
Fair enough. We appreciate you for that, Sarai. We thank you, all of you, for tuning in as well. You gave your opinions on it. All of you that maybe added something to the comments, we appreciate you for listening and tuning in as well. I want to give a shout out to our panel here. We have Sarai. Sarai, you want to shout out anything that you're working on with Radio 22?
I'm working with Radio 22. We have a new TikTok account up. That's going to be exciting. And keep an eye out for some podcasts we have coming out.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Look for more stuff at radio22.com. Like she said, things are just brewing all over the station. And Sarai is one of the working members of the station here that really helping us get going. Heather, we want to shout you out. Heather, can you let the people know anything that you're working on these days?
Got a few music videos coming out for the artist collective team here in Madison, and then of course I was pushing photos up for the week. So shout out to my team. I know they're watching, and yeah, that's about it.
Okay, where can they find you?
Everywhere, it's on the screen right now. Just find me Gouch Vision on Facebook, IG, and Twitter.
Appreciate you for joining the program as well, Heather. Last but not least, the homie Bang. Bang, what you got going on, homie?
Yeah, so y'all hit me up, bangtoreal.net. All my social media is on there. The last 2 singles I dropped, tax season, which I still ain't got my taxes yet, but I ain't worried about it, because I ain't hungry, so it's cool. The government need my money for whatever reason, they can hold on to it.
And you didn't get your PPP?
So, man, I ain't even apply for it.
Oh man.
I mean, I don't know, man. I was like, I really don't need the bread. I guess it's good to have it, but I was just like, forget it, So I skipped that opportunity. Shout out to everybody that did it though. So yeah, I did the tax season. And the last one I dropped was I Do. If you got somebody special in your life, check out that I Do is a commercial banger. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to show love to your significant other always, all the time. You ain't never too cool, never too gangster, never too street, never too anything, you know what I'm saying, to show love to your significant other. So holla at my bang2real.net. Check out my last few singles. Oh, and check out the Quarantine. We still kind of in that shit. They still fucking with us. So I got the Quarantine out as well. That video popping too. So all that is on my bang2real.net.
We appreciate you for joining the program as well, Bang. Appreciate you. And like I said, we appreciate all of you for tuning in as well. Your boy Mizzle to the Jizzle. You've been listening to Radio 22's Talk 22. Till next time, y'all. Peace.
Hold on. Be backstage just for a second.